Because the power of the material energy in the form of a woman is the most formidable power within the universe. It's very powerful. So one should not estimate that, the power of that attraction. And there's verses in the third canto, 31st chapter. There's a whole series of verses starting from verse 31 all the way up to verse 42. That it's explained that the Lord is actually speaking. Kapila Deva is speaking. He said, just see the power of my material energy in the form of a woman. How mighty it is. Even great conquerors succumb to this attraction. So, we get a little bit of an indication just what it means to struggle in spiritual life to maintain our own Krishna consciousness. Because the goal is to become attracted to Krishna only. Any other attraction diverts our attention away from Krishna and causes one to be, what we say, in illusion about our relationship with these objects. Because you can't, there's nothing to enjoy in this world. You can't enjoy it. Prabhupada said we have to discuss this topic because if we don't, our movement gets weak. I remember in the beginning of our movement, we were talking about this all the time. Now it seems to be a taboo subject in a mixed audience to discuss, celibacy and the challenges that come in relationship with the opposite sex, because there's always somebody who's going to be offended. It seems like it's the way it is now. But Prabhupada actually made a statement. He said, if we don't talk about these things in a very intelligent, philosophical way, we'll internalize these, what we say, desires. And that desires will cause the mind to become clouded and confused. So, therefore, of course, this is not a session where we can get into individual struggles, but you can reflect on some of the things that are being mentioned. So you can use that in trying to understand how to deal with your day-to-day struggle and trying to make progress in Krishna consciousness in your ashram. So, therefore, one of the things, I'll just mention a few little things. Of course, aversion is the other side of attraction. But if you have to go one way or the other, you're safer on aversion. It's not Krishna conscious, but it helps you to get to the stage where you can get above aversion and attraction. I mean, in the sense that you have to, if you're attracted, then you have to deal with that attraction in such a way as not to become more and more implicated by that attraction. So what is the nature of the philosophical aversion? Is that the attraction I have for this is causing me to forget Krishna and become more and more entangled in material. That's the philosophical understanding. I mean, there's different ways to approach this. Prabhupada says in the second canto, 7th chapter, verse 6, that the opposite sex is a stumbling block for the struggling sadhaka, a big stumbling block. So that's why there's the Varnashram system, in order to situate oneself in such a way that they can make progress. Now, wherever you are, that's the best place. Wherever you are, that's the best place to make progress. It's not like one ashram is better than another. If you're in Grahastra, stay there and make progress, detach yourself from sense gratification, practice the principles. But if you're in Brahmacharya, do the same thing, follow those principles. And what are the principles of dealing with women? Practically, there's no principles. It's not necessary that brahmacharis have dealings with women, other than sometimes we find ourselves in contact on a day-to-day with some service responsibilities. But those things can also afflict and affect one in such a way that the mind will become disturbed. The mind will become disturbed. So, two things are important. etiquette in speech and etiquette in how you use your eyeballs. I remember when we first started Krishna consciousness, it was such a strong preaching that the brahmacharis wouldn't even look at the women. So we're going to be talking to them, and they're looking at this. And the women's thinking, what's wrong with this guy? So it was like that. It was like really, really like the heavy reactionary stuff. But still, when you're talking, don't make eye contact. Because that's dangerous. It's very dangerous. Because for that moment, the mind can become deluded or polluted. So better to speak friendly and not friendly, but we say respectfully, but not wasting time with frivolous talk and unnecessary talk. And really, as a brahmachari, you don't really have to make that kind of association. Women who are trained and understand the nature of Krishna consciousness respect the brahmacharis and don't try. Others don't have that respect. And of course, non-devotee women don't have any understanding. So that's a real challenge, how to deal with the non-devotee women. Because we do that with preaching. But try to avoid that association as much as possible. It's not fanatical to avoid it. It's not fanatical. Fanatical means that it has no philosophical basis. It's just some kind of creation of the mind. But what we're trying to do is actually focus our consciousness on Krishna. So we see women as mother. That is the drop of consciousness. All women, Prabhupada said, even a little girl that is much younger than us is referred to as mother. And that sounds quite unusual. What's the word? It's quite, what do we say, out of context. See a little girl as mother. Prabhupada said that is proper. That all women are actually mother, except, of course, for those who are married. That's the rascals, they see differently. But for brahmachari, all women is mother. What is that? There's a connotation that comes with the word mother, which means respect, not enjoyment. The enjoyment consciousness is what implicates the conditioned soul into that. So, in whatever little bit of dealings there are there, always have that respectful attitude. In a very like. And Prabhupada was asked by one lady, you can hear it on the tape, how should women see men? And Prabhupada said, as son. Now that's a cultured woman. She'll see a brahmachari or another man more like a son. So she relates to him in that mood rather than the mood of enjoyment. The mood of enjoyment is what causes us to become somewhat implicated. It doesn't cause us to become implicated. And one has to be clear that there actually is no enjoyment there. There is no enjoyment there. That is called the illusion of attraction, that creates this idea that there is some enjoyment there. But there actually isn't. Enjoyment is for the soul's relationship with Krishna.